There is a certain look in the eyes of people who have gone through too much. It is not loud. It does not beg for attention. In fact, most people miss it completely. But if you slow down and really observe, you'll notice it. A quiet heaviness, like someone who has been fighting battles for years without ever putting down their armor. These are the people who learned early that life is not always kind. The ones who stopped expecting fairness because experience taught them otherwise. Maybe they were the child who had to grow up too fast, the teenager who carried responsibilities no one saw, or the adult who kept surviving one crisis after another. Pain did not visit them once. It became a familiar guest. When someone goes through too much, something shifts inside them. They become hyper-aware. They can read a room in seconds. They notice tone changes, subtle facial expressions, emotional undercurrents. This isn't magic. It is survival. When your environment has been unpredictable, your brain adapts. You learn to scan for danger before danger even announces itself. Over time, this creates emotional intelligence that runs deep. They understand pain because they have lived with it. They know how to comfort others because they have comforted themselves in silence. But here is the paradox. The same strength that makes them resilient also makes them tired. Constantly being strong leaves little room for softness. They struggle to relax because their nervous system has been trained to stay alert. Even in calm moments, their body does not fully believe it's safe. They overthink. They replay conversations. They prepare for worst-case scenarios, not because they are negative, but because life has conditioned them to expect impact. The world often praises them for being so strong. But strength, for them, was never a choice. It was necessary. They did not wake up one day and decide to be resilient. Resilience was built in the fire of circumstances they did not choose. And beneath that strength is often a quiet wish to not have to be the strong one for once, to be held without having to explain why they are tired. To rest without guilt. This is the psychology of people who have gone through too much. They do not break loudly. They endure quietly. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can offer them isn't advice. It is understanding. When someone has experienced too much pain, they do not just carry memories. They build armor. Not the visible kind, but emotional armor. They become independent to the point of isolation. They tell themselves, I can handle it, even when they are overwhelmed. Asking for help feels unnatural, almost unsafe. Because at some point in their life, help was not available. Or worse, help came with conditions. Imagine a young boy who learned that crying made things worse, so he stopped crying. Imagine a girl who discovered that expressing her needs led to disappointment, so she stopped asking. These small adaptations, repeated over years, become personality traits. What people call cold is often self-protection. What they label as distant is often someone trying not to get hurt again. They struggle with trust, not because they want to, but because their experiences taught them that stability can disappear overnight. So they test people, not intentionally, but subconsciously. They expect others to leave. They prepare for betrayal, even in healthy relationships. When someone genuinely cares for them, it can feel confusing. Their mind searches for hidden motives. Their heart wants to believe, but their past whispers warnings that at the same time. They often become the strongest supporters of others. They show up, they listen, they remember details. They offer comfort with remarkable depth. Why? Because they know what it feels like to feel alone. They refuse to let others experience that same emptiness. Their empathy is not theoretical. It is earned. But wearing armor all the time is exhausting. They may appear calm on the outside while fighting storms internally. They may laugh loudly while carrying silent grief. And sometimes, they do not even realize how heavy their armor has become because they have worn it for so long. The tragedy is that the world misinterprets their coping mechanisms as personality flaws. But if you look closer, you'll see something else entirely. A human being who adapted in order to survive. And survival, while admirable, is not the same as living. People who have gone through too much often react strongly to things others consider small. A delayed reply, a change in tone, a canceled plan. To outsiders, it seems like overreaction. But psychologically, it is a nervous system responding to patterns it has seen before. Their brain connects present moments to past pain. It is not about the text message. It is about every time they felt abandoned. It is not about the disagreement. It is about every time conflict ended in chaos. Trauma does not always show up as dramatic flashbacks. Sometimes it shows up as anxiety before something even happens, as difficulty sleeping, as always preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Their mind is constantly calculating risk. It is trying to protect them from reliving what they have already survived. Yet within this sensitivity lies extraordinary emotional depth. They feel deeply. They love deeply. When they commit to someone, they do so with their whole heart. Loyalty means everything to them because they understand loss. They value consistency because they've lived through instability. They appreciate small acts of kindness more than anyone else because they know what neglect feels like. However, they may struggle with self-worth. When you have faced repeated hardship, you sometimes internalize the idea that pain is normal for you, that maybe you're just too much or not enough. So even when good things come, they wait for the other shoe to drop. Happiness can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because chaos was the baseline for so long. Healing for them isn't about forgetting the past. It is about teaching their nervous system that the present is different. It is about learning that not every raised voice leads to disaster, that not every disagreement ends in abandonment, that they do not have to constantly anticipate loss to avoid being blindsided by it. The psychology here is layered: heightened awareness, deep empathy, protective distance, and a longing to feel safe. They do not need pity. They need patience. And sometimes, they need someone to gently remind them that surviving too much does not mean they are destined to suffer forever. The most powerful transformation for someone who has gone through too much is shifting from survival mode to self-compassion. For years, their identity may have been built around endurance. I can handle it. I'll figure it out. I don't need anyone. These statements once protected them. But at some point, survival strategies must evolve. That self-compassion feels foreign at first. It means acknowledging that what happened to them was heavy, that they did not imagine the pain, that they were, in many cases, carrying more than anyone should have. It means allowing themselves to grieve, not just events, but the version of life they did not get to have, the childhood that was rushed, the peace that was missing, the support that never came. And here's the beautiful truth: the same traits that help them survive can help them heal. Their emotional intelligence allows them to reflect. Their empathy allows them to connect. Their resilience gives them the capacity to rebuild. The difference is that now, the strength does not have to be used against themselves. Imagine someone who once flinched at every sign of conflict slowly learning that disagreement does not equal danger. Imagine someone who once pushed everyone away slowly allowing themselves to stay. Imagine them realizing that rest is not weakness, that softness is not stupidity, that needing people does not make them fragile, it makes them human. People who have gone through too much are not broken. They are layered. They are complex. They are survivors who are learning, perhaps for the first time, that life can be more than endurance. It can be connection. It can be peace. It can be joy without fear.